Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci fi show where things can get totally radical. Now, today I will be welcoming a friend of mine. I've known her for almost 10 years now. She's a very sweet lady. She's a friend of mine from San Mateo. Her name is Valerie Leghorn. She goes by VB Leghorn. And I haven't seen her in about 5 years already. And because we've both been busy and, with all the things I've been through, and she's been through stuff and what have you. So I'm going to have her on the show today to catch up and reflect on things that we did back in the day and and stuff and memories of stuff that we did and everything. And I'm pretty excited about it. She's a sweet lady. She's got a background in theater, and and I think she sings karaoke too. Yeah, she does. It's been a while. I can't remember a lot of stuff from like back in the day because I knew so many people in the bar scene and everything in San Mateo. But we're gonna catch up and talk all about that stuff. So yeah, here's my interview with Valerie VB Leghorn. Hey Valerie,
Hey Tommy, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you, hun?
Just awesome. It's a beautiful day.
Oh yes, it is, especially over here in Reading where I'm at.
Oh well, I'm down in San Mateo, and it's pretty gorgeous here.
Yeah. Oh my God, we've been having some weird weather over here ever since the fires happened. It's been overcast on some days and it's been hot on other days. It's weird.
Yeah, I hear you got your own microclimate going on.
Yeah, it's really weird and frightening, but at least everything's cleared now.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad everybody's safe.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. I had to evacuate for a while and go to my godparents, which was a nightmare.
Oh, well, that's another story, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh my God. So you and I, we've known each other for what, almost 10 years now?
Yeah, I think that's just about right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I, yeah, because I was a bouncer at Swinging Door, and you were coming in on karaoke night. I think was it DJ Purple when he was doing it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that he had been working as a KJ over there. Yeah, I used to go in there quite a bit.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he was there for quite a while, and then he left for a while, and then came back and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we knew each other that long, and oh my God, that was a really weird time for me because I was in my mid 20s. I was basically, a guy who born and raised in San Mateo, but comes to that place out of nowhere after I lived in Arizona for a brief time earlier in 2007. And then I come back. I'm doing comedy. I'm performing at comedy night there, and then it gets canceled, and then I get offered a job as a bouncer there. I take it. My family doesn't approve. They're worried about me and stuff. And oh my God, next thing you know, I'm like bringing people in and promoting the heck out of that place.
Yeah, yeah, you brought a lot of folks in. I know people used to come in and see you all the time. Miss your smiling face there.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. So this was like right at the end of MySpace's heyday and right before Facebook broke big. And
Hmm.
so MySpace was a lot more intimate, so I could post a bulletin and everyone saw it. And it was a lot easier to do that. So like within 7 months of me working there, it was only busy maybe one weekend a month or two, depending on if there was a band there instead of karaoke, and that was about it. But then by the time spring hit and Bay Meadows was wrapping up, I got the place completely busy, and next thing you know, I'm going to places all over the Bay Area on my nights off, and I'm promoting that place and bringing people in and stuff. People that I never even saw again after they came in a couple times and stuff. It was really weird. I wish I could do that with my comedy gigs, but my comedy gigs have always been in the middle of the week because I haven't been booked for, professional shows on the weekend.
Oh, yeah, and that's hard. It's hard for people to get out consistently during the week, and you're so polarized because you're constantly really moving too with your comedy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It was. It was. It's.
But
Oh, go ahead.
but how is that going? I mean, how are your gigs going? Do you have a lot of shows upcoming up and ready?
No, there's no comedy up here except in Sacramento, and this podcast has been my only means of being funny. I only get to do stand up when I'm in the Bay Area, and I visited a couple times since I've moved up here. That's about it. But I'm gonna do it. Hopefully, if I move to Los Angeles in spring, which is the plan, and we'll see if that goes through.
Oh, good. Well, that sounds like a nice place for you. I mean, there's such a big pool of comedy down there and comedy clubs and stand-up arenas. It would be a really great place for you.
Yeah, I mean it's very competitive and hard, but I luckily because I've had no friends or mentors that are close to me in the business, I've discovered this podcast world and I've just listened to these really amazing conversations that comedians have where they talk about how difficult the business is and how they can, overcome it and stuff and like what the business entails, and I'm very fortunate that way.
Yeah, it's anything in the entertainment industry. I mean, I think you know that I've been in the entertainment industry myself for about 25 years, and whether it was as a casting director or an actor or a writer or any of the other areas, it's always very competitive. So it's good to be able to find resources that can help you along your way.
Oh, certainly. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And
Mm.
some people debate this, but I strongly believe that 99% of your success is your peers and 1% of your success is you. I firmly believe that, because there's a lot of people who don't have talent that make it.
I think there's a lot of luck in there as well, just being in the right place at the right time.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, I learned that, a long time ago because I would see people, as a casting director, I'd see people come in for an audition for a part in a film or something, and they'd walk in and they'd do just an amazing audition. And they'd walk out of the room and the director would say, she looks just like my ex-wife. I'm not casting her, or something like that. So it's just about, it's not always about your talent. There's other things and factors that influence decisions that are making who you are, what you are.
Right. I believe that too. And I also believe, luck also plays into the fact that your peers accept who you are and they like what you do. But
Well, I agree with that, but I mean, also it does. There's just a lot of. I think there's a lot of factors, and it's about you. It's about your talents. It's about your friends. It's about your family. How much they encourage you. The people that you meet, how much you put yourself out there, making sure that you're constantly working towards a goal,
hmm
and that's really important. I can't tell you how many people I've met. When I was casting, and they say, "Oh, my agent never sends me out for auditions," and I'm like, "Well, how many times do you submit yourself? What do you do for yourself? Are you taking classes? What was the last thing that you did to make yourself better?" And I had this one guy, and he had a great look, and he was really talented. But every time he'd come in, he would just complain about, my agent's not sending me out. But he never did anything for himself. He never, was proactive in making sure that he was a success in what he did. And that's super important in any industry. I don't care what business you're in, whether you're working at McDonald's or, you're Tom Cruise. I mean, he still does a lot for himself, and that's really important. You can never stop.
yeah, that's one of the things I've actually heard on the podcast. There's so many people trying to get into the industry, and they think that their agent is the only thing that's going to get them jobs. But it's like you have to go and look for them yourself. You can't just wait for your agent to do it.
That's right. Yeah, it's really, I mean, if there was anything that any piece of advice that I would give people, it was always, networking is huge. Classes are huge. No matter how good you are at what you do, I highly encourage the more classes you take improv classes, take acting classes, take comedy classes, take whatever you can just to keep yourself fresh, because you could always learn something from other people. There's never a point where you can stop learning. You'll always learn something new.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm trying to do is take acting and improv classes too and stuff. I took an acting class up here a year ago at this theater company over here that just started. They're about a year old, and they had a workshop in the in the court the in the courtroom office here in Reading, and they also perform their shows there because they don't have a theater to rent over here and stuff. And they were pretty cool. They were politically incorrect like I am, so that worked out. You know,
Good.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I want to take more of those in the future. The problem with this company though is that because they're new, they only do like once a month classes, but they're never for the same thing. Like one month it can be, beginners actor, the next could be advanced, the next could be just improv, the next could be um, learning how to audition, just stuff like that, because they don't have a whole lot of people working for the company yet. That's why the schedule is so erratic like that, but
Hmm.
out in
Well,
LA, go ahead.
have you looked into the classes? Oh, no, sorry, that's my dog. No, not right now, honey. Have you looked into classes maybe at the colleges around you, like especially the community colleges? Some of them will even give waivers to you for the fees if you join one of their performances.
I've,
I know that they're a really good resource usually.
I've thought about it, yeah. I just don't know how much longer I'm going to be here, but I have thought about it, yeah.
Hmm. Well, sometimes they have weekend workshops and things like that. But it's well worth it to look into the Community College Network, and then also you can go on to the Screen Actors Guild website, which is
Right.
SAGAFTRA.org, and they should have a list of teachers and casting agents up there. And it would be completely worth it to get in touch with some of the casting agents up there to see if maybe they need someone that's your type, because you're a unique type and you're a really good type. So it might be fun to get your feet wet when it comes to doing some film work.
Oh, yeah. It might be something to look into. I mean, I was interviewed for a documentary movie that Linnea Quigley was making. I was interviewed by her last year after I interviewed her a couple times and stuff, and waiting for that to come out. And also, I was in a music video just before I left the Bay Area. That was a lot of fun. Spent a whole day in this nightclub up in San Francisco in the daytime shooting this video, and then we had like 40 pizzas delivered that day. It was great.
It sounds like it. It sounds like a lot of fun.
And I
So
actually,
why did you leave?
uh, well, okay, my mom and okay, the last time I saw you was in 2013 when I was volunteering at the Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Well, starting that Christmas, we were homeless for about 3.5 years, and her ex-boyfriend was a complete schmuck. He just took us for everything, and stuff, and we just ended up with no places to live. I lived in hotels and crashed in friends' places for a while, and my mom, she was going back and forth from down there to up here at my godparents and looking for jobs and stuff, and I was looking for jobs. I eventually did. I get a security job working for Menlo College, which was a nightmare. It was good the first 8 weeks, and then once the kids came back, oh, it was a nightmare. I got into a lot of confrontations and stuff, and I was drinking constantly. I went to work drunk a couple times. I'll tell you,
Oh.
it was pretty bad. And so my mom got a job in Livermore, and she was living out of a hotel that was in driving distance to it and stuff. And then she finally found an apartment, but it was up here, and because her credit was really really bad, so she moved into this apartment. And within 2 months, she was like, I can't make the rent by myself. Can you come down here? And I said, sure, because I was waiting to get out. So many people that I thought were my friends were just so disloyal to me because they thought I was disloyal to them because I have all these dreams and aspirations and they're just jealous because they're drunks and everything, and so I quit doing comedy down there because I had to deal with a lot of backstabbing comedians that were also threatened by everything I was trying to achieve and everything. So yeah, I've been here since April of last year.
Do you like it?
I don't like it actually. There's nothing in the area that we live in. Um, all I have is like the grocery store and the shopping center across the street to go to. I've never driven, and
Mm.
there's nothing around here, and the people are very judgmental and weird, and a lot of them are on drugs. It's like the Bay Area, but I'll tell you something. I feel a lot safer, and I trust people in the Bay Area who are like that a lot more than here. The people here just give
Mm.
you a creepy, creepy vibe that you've only seen in movies about the South.
Yeah, I know. I've had a few incidents myself up in Reading. You know that my husband is Canadian, and
Hmm.
one time we were up there at my cousin's house. He lived in Reading at the time, and he had
Hmm.
a party, and his neighbor was over, and my husband said that he was Canadian, and the guy looked him square in the eye and said, "Oh, you're a northern wetback, huh?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, you just said what to my husband?" And I said, "So what do you do for a living?" He says, "Oh, I'm a trash collector." And I said, "Oh yeah?" I said, "My husband has an MBA." I said, "That's why they let him into this country. So don't put him down."
Wow. Oh my God. There's worse things he could have said though.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty rude. I was like, that was a total hillbilly thing to say, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So where are you originally from?
I was born in Castro Valley
Mm-hmm.
and grew up all over the country. My dad worked for the government, and so we moved about every 2 years. He, he was an engineer, and I lived both on the East Coast and the West Coast, but we always came back to California. I've been back here now since it was 1989. I moved back to
Wow.
the Bay Area and just haven't left. Yeah, I was living in Palo Alto up until my kids were about 8 years old, I think it was, and then I moved to San Mateo because Palo Alto just started getting a little too stuffy for my liking, and so a lot of people were moving in and tearing down the little houses and putting up these monster mansions, and I wanted something that was a little more quaint. So I love San Mateo. It's a lot like Palo Alto used to be. Unfortunately, there's a lot of building going on here now.
Yep.
So but no mega mansions coming just yet. So I'm happy about that. Um, yeah. So that's pretty much my story. I always end up back in California.
It's fucking crazy over there. I've been down there. I was there very briefly last week, and I just could not get over it. Oh my God! It's not the town I grew up in.
Oh yeah, the traffic here is insane now. Just simply, they took out the old Kmart over by
Yep.
the train station, Hayward Park, and they put up several office buildings and apartments. And the apartments there, they start at $3,400 a month for an 800 square foot apartment.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I know, it's insane. $3,400 a month for 800 square feet. It's like New York prices.
Oh,
But it's right there at 92 and 101. So you can get anywhere in the Silicon Valley from that little spot, which is why they're commanding those prices. They're turning out the Ross and Peninsula Ballet,
oh,
Joe's,
I didn't know about that.
Shane Company.
They're,
Yep, they're tearing all that out now too and putting in Santana Row.
oh my God, that is so fucked up. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. And then they're also taking out the old post office that's up the street from that,
Oh,
and the AAA is going as well.
oh my God. I can't live in that town again after that. That is just too much for me to handle. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing all of the building that's going on around me. I mean, I go kayaking out on Seal Slough, and as I go down to the end, you can see that I think it's called Alza, that the pharmaceutical company that's over on Third. They've
Mm-hmm.
almost doubled their size now. They've put up so many new buildings, and I talked to people along the waterways, and he's like, yeah, there was this one older man, and he said, I remember when this used to just be fruit fields, and now look, I have no view here anymore. And I said, yes, but your home is worth a whole lot more than it was when you bought it. And he said, yeah, I paid $38,000 for my house when I bought it on the water.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
know, $38,000, and his house is easily worth close to $2 million right now. So I told him, I said, if you ever want to sell it, let me know.
I worked at that Kmart and that Michael's Arts and Crafts that moved to the El Camino. Oh my God.
Oh, I love Michael's. It's so much fun. I mean, you can get just about anything there.
You can get just about anything there. It's fun to shop there, but working there is a whole different story, I'll tell you. They
Oh, I'm sure working anywhere is.
but they treat you like you're working for the government over there. I mean, they are just very military like in terms of working there. I was there for 9 months in 2012, and it was a living nightmare. And there was coworkers there that I thought were my friends. They turned on me with the drop of a hat after I got fired from there, except for one that I'm still friends with to this day. But all of them, oh my God, I don't know what happened. They just gave me the stink eye after that.
Hmm. People are strange. It's funny. I have friends in Europe and that I've known for 20, 25 years,
Hmm.
and they tell me the strange thing about Americans is they're so easy to give up friendships. But the rest of the world, it's like when you make a friend, you make a friend forever, and that's what friendship's about. So I don't know if it's our society or if it's the fact that we move so frequently or what it is here that causes people to turn away from one another. But I've been very lucky that I have a very good core group of friends that have always had my back and always been there for me no matter what, whether I'm sober, whether I'm loaded, doesn't matter. They're always there for me, and there are not many of them, but
Yeah.
that's I think it's very important in American society to try and hold on to that value.
Yeah, oh my God, that's great that you have those friends. But yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, when I was volunteering at the Dragon, oh my God, so many strange things happened, and one that stands out. I was actually talking to a former employee there a couple weeks ago, and I told her this story. The reason I volunteered there was because I was hoping it was going to lead to paid work somehow because I wanted to get back in the theater. I hadn't done it since high school. I used to handle props at San Mateo High for all the musicals and stuff, and I wanted to do just some kind of work there that was akin to that, even though they weren't doing musicals and they didn't really need prop handlers. I wanted to do some kind of work there, and the first show I volunteered for was a play called "And Miss Reardon Drinks a Little," and I volunteered maybe six performances for that, and I was doing the concession stand all by myself. Then by the time I did the next one, Rich and Famous, was that the one you went to?
No, I think it's the one after that.
November, was the David Mamet play.
I'm trying to think. I went to see a play with Tom. I think it was. That's who I usually go to that theater with. I usually meet him for a movie, and then he goes something like, "Hey, you want to have dinner or go see a show?" Okay. So I think it was. Darn, I don't even remember the name of it. It'll come to me though.
Yeah, um, uh, so so they decided by the time that next play came, they decided that they were going to have two people handle the concession stand because just the overwhelming volume of people who were starting to show up because they used to have just one and now they needed more because ever since they moved from Palo Alto to Redwood City that they grew in popularity. So they paired me up with this woman. I had to work with her. Oh my God, at least 3 out of 6 times that I volunteered for that play, Rich and Famous, and
Mm-hmm.
I did all the work, and she just stood around drinking glasses of wine the whole
Oh
time. Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, and she and all she did was count the money. That was that. And
Yeah.
and then I had to work with her again on November. I can't remember how many times. It was a couple times. And then I go to the end of the year Christmas party, and I was probably about. I had just gotten the bad news that we were going to lose our apartment, but this was like right around that time, right after it, that this party was happening. And they make the announcement that they have a new member of the board of trustees for the company, and it was her.
Mm.
And I did not want to be a member of the board of trustees, but I wanted a paid position in the Dragon, and I was so mad. I did not volunteer for a year after that.
Oh.
I was so
Oh, that's
mad.
heartbreaking.
Yes, and I talked to Meredith, the owner, and shit, and she was cold with me, like she always is and stuff. Thank God she's leaving. I found out she's leaving after December this year, and
Oh, I wonder why.
I guess California is getting expensive for her, so she gave it to somebody else, and she's moving. Um,
That
but
makes sense.
yeah, but so I stayed away for a year, and then after I got removed from site at Menlo College after I had this one confrontation, I went to go work at American Cost Plus, and that enabled me to do prop handling for Broadway by the Bay across the street at the Fox
Oh,
Theater.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got let go opening night because this girl who was working with me, who was younger than I was, and she was mentally unstable. She was talking badly about me and saying stuff that wasn't true. I didn't know that until about a year later when I found out she did it to some other people. So they let me go.
Oh.
So I worked for 3 weeks and got $400 out of it. That was good, but I was just mad that they let me go opening night.
Yeah, definitely.
So the week after
Oh,
that, yeah. So the week after that, I started volunteering a couple times at the Dragon, and then a month later was my accident in January of 2015.
wow. And then you were in the hospital for how long with that?
5 months.
Yeah, I thought it was like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Wow.
30 days in a coma.
That's brutal. But from what I understand, you're feeling much better now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got bad arthritis in my leg. You know, it's all full of metal and everything. But I have my good days and my bad days with that. I had my gallbladder out a year later and stuff, and I can't eat the way I used to. Unfortunately, I've put on weight again since, and I'm about 60 pounds down to losing it. Fortunately, I got a long way to go still, but yeah, oh my God, it was just the first month and a half that I was out from the coma was great. I was in ICU still. The nurses and doctors were great, but then when they put me in rehab, oh my God, I dealt with a lot of assholes in rehab.
I'm sure it's hard for both people on both sides of that. They are supposed to be tough with you and everything, but at the same time, I mean, you're coming out of something that was very shocking to your whole life, and I think that sometimes they're just a little too insensitive.
Oh yeah, very much so. And the worst part about it, I could not take a shower for like 6 months, right? And
Ew.
yeah, well, because I had a wound on from
Yeah.
I had a wound from my torso to my belly button, and
Right.
they had to change my band-aid every day, and even I had to change it when I got home, which I did not like doing. I was very uncomfortable with it, and so then when I got home, they have this protection tape that I could put on my biliary tube um, to take a shower and stuff, and I did, and I basically scotch taped like the whole friggin' tube and everything so it wouldn't fall off every day, and it almost did a couple times because the water got it wet, but so I had to do that for 6 months until I got my gallbladder out and everything, and that was just bad. And I'd be in public, and my bag would get full, and I'd have to go to the bathroom and drain it and all that. It was just
Yeah.
something I just don't wish on anybody. And I remember one time I was in the when I was in the hospital. A friend of mine, she came to visit me, and she laid across from me in my bed the whole like half hour or so that she was there, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're right here. I mean, don't I stink? And she's like, yeah, you do, but I love you, and I know that what you're going through. And I thought that was very nice.
Aw, that's really wonderful. Yeah, that's the kind of people you want in your life.
Yes, and she's coming on the show pretty soon, actually.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Oh my god. So, when did you start doing theater and acting and stuff?
Well, it's kind of, I started doing it on a dare.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a friend of mine who was taking an acting class, a beginning acting class, and she asked me if I would take it with her, and I said no way. And she said, well, I'll run the Beta Breakers with you if you take an acting class with me. And I was like, oh, okay. So she did, and oh my God, poor thing, she wasn't a runner. So afterwards, she could barely walk for like 4 days
Uh-huh.
because she was so sore. And, she's like, okay, well, I suffered, so it's your turn. And so then I took an acting class over at Foothill College. It was a Monday night class with a woman named Marcia Frederick.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole class, I couldn't get up and do anything. I didn't want to be up in front of people. As you know, I'm a fairly private person. So
Mm-hmm.
it was very difficult for me. And then the teacher said, took me aside. She says, you're going to get an F in this class because you're not doing anything. But if you do one monologue, just one, I will give you an A. And I said, okay, fine. So I chose a monologue from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Nice.
And I remember getting up there, and my hands were sweating, and my knees were shaking, and my tongue was stuck to the roof of my mouth, and I was terrified. And I got through the monologue, and she said, okay, so next week I want you to do this. I said, no, our deal was one monologue. And I did the one monologue, and I'm never doing this again. And after I was done with the class, she called me, and she said, look, I think that you would be a very good actor. She said, I just see something in you. Please come back to my second class. If you don't like it, then you never have to do it again, but just give it a try. So I came back with my friend and did her advanced acting class.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the class, she said, you are a natural. You really need to do this. And she had this other guy come and talk to me. And as a matter of fact, he's on TV shows and things now in Southern California, and he's doing really, really well. And he said, look, if she thinks you've got it, you've got it, because this woman knows acting. So from there, I ended up getting a job as a casting director for Nancy Hayes in San Francisco, and worked there for about 3.5 years. And then I worked with Bo Bennell a bit, and just started doing film work and got an agent, and just one thing after another. But then I I was working at a law firm, and I got pneumonia, and I had 104.5 fever.
Wow.
And I had to stay at home. And they called me up and said they were firing me because I didn't know when I could come back to work because I had pneumonia. And I was like, wait, is that legal? Can we do that? And they said, well, we do it all the time. So it was October 30th, and they said that they were cutting off my insurance as of the end of the month, which was the next day. And so I was on the phone, and I was crying with my friend, who happened to be a professor over at Foothill College.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I'm looking for some plays for our spring shows. And I said, well, why don't I write them? And she said, have you ever written plays? And I said, no. And she said, well, what would you write about? And I said, dating. And so I ended up writing 6 plays. They produced 5 of them.
Nice.
I had so much fun with it. I wrote 12 plays. And then I sent them off to the 3 largest play publishers in the world, and got back a no from the Canada one at the time, a yes from Dramatist, which only wanted to publish 1, and then a yes from Samuel France that they were going to publish all 12. And that was 10 years ago this month.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
Yeah, that's how I became a published playwright.
Wow. I've never read any of your work and stuff, but I admire you for that. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. Now I've written over 200 plays. I've written mystery novels. I've done screenplays. I pretty much just write anything that comes into my head now, and anything that people will pay me for.
I've written over maybe 100 screenplays, and only a handful of them are still around. Stuff that I wrote years ago that I'm actually glad I don't have anymore because, in hindsight, I thought they were good, but looking back, they were pretty bad. The first script I wrote, I was 12 years old. My parents bought me this really cool digital typewriter. It was like right at the end of the typewriter um, thing, when they still had them. And I wrote a script. It was a porno version of the movie Blade Runner. I was watching that movie a lot at that time. I was obsessed with that movie. And I wrote the script Blade Runner.
Oh,
And
geez.
I can't I can't even
Okay,
remember.
so I have to ask this. How can a porno script be any worse than any other porno script? Seriously.
There's no such thing as a good porno script. I think just a good porno
That's
movie.
right. That's right.
I can't remember anything I wrote except for. Have you ever seen the movie Blade Runner?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you
Isn't
were.
that Harrison Ford?
Yes. Okay, you know that scene where he's interrogating Sean Young to find out if she's a replicant?
Yes.
Okay, you remember he starts asking her these weird questions that involves her and another woman, and she says, "Are you asking me if I'm a replicant or a lesbian?" Right? Well,
Uh-huh.
that was in the script, and then his character says, "Let's find out," and then he brings in a girl for them to have a threesome.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the only thing I remember writing of the whole thing, and then I threw it away. And I remember my mom, her friend is a screenwriter. He's a member of the Writers Guild. Um, he wrote one of the early drafts of 12 Monkeys, and
Ah. Mm.
like she asked me if I would show. I didn't tell her what the script was or what it was about, but she's like, hey, you want to show him the script you wrote? And I'm like, no, because I'm like 12 years old and I'm nervous.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
It's true though.
Oh, that's crazy.
I have
Well,
to.
you'll have to get one of my books at least, or one of my scripts. I have 14 publications now with Samuel French. My main one is Collective Dating, and of course my writing name is Phoebe Leghorn. So
Right.
make sure you go up there and get it, and I'll sign it for you.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd love to.
You should check out my scripts I've written. Oh my God.
I would love to.
I've
Well, not that one, but
oh, I told you I don't have it.
that's good.
I, I've written a couple horror and sci-fi scripts lately. There are sex jokes in some of them, but it's pretty damn funny and it's got really good like I don't know if people I've never really read a horror script, so I don't know if you get the same feeling reading a horror script as you do watching the movie. Like I don't know if it has any good scares in it, but I do know this that it'll probably be pretty captivating with the gory stuff that I put in it.
Nice. That sounds good. Well, if you wanted to go and check out some other scripts, if you just go online and do a search for movie scripts,
Hmm.
there's a website, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a website that has like a whole database of movie scripts, and it has all the different versions. So it has like the original version, and then the director's cut, and the final shooting script and things. So it's kind of interesting to see the transmutations of those scripts as they go
Hmm.
through the different phases of from development into actual filming.
Hmm.
But if I find that, I'll shoot you an email and send you a link to it, or I'm sure you can just look it up. But it's fascinating to read it, and it might be interesting for you to pull up something like Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th movie, or one of the Freddy Krueger movies,
Right.
and read that script and see how it flows compared to yours.
Yeah, you can send me the link, in case I forget later and stuff.
Sure, no problem.
But yeah, I've read plenty of scripts. I mean, the first script I ever read was I didn't actually read it because I was just learning how to read. I was like 6 years old. My parents and I we were in Hollywood at this movie memorabilia shop over by Grauman's Chinese Theater. I don't think it's there anymore. And we saw the script for The Wizard of Oz, and I picked it up and looked at it, and I was like, so that's how a script is read, and I never forgot that. And I wrote my first script at 12. Like I
Um,
remembered how to write it, and then when the internet came, I was looking for new angles to make it look good, and I used Quentin Tarantino's screenwriting for Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction as a reference point for it.
oh God, he's such a good writer. I love his quirkiness and his depth and just the way that he relates to characters and he really, I mean, Reservoir Dogs was just a gem of a movie, and Pulp Fiction, of course, is a classic, a cult classic, but yeah, he's pretty phenomenal.
He's the best, and I'm looking forward to the new one he's got coming out that he just finished. It's called
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a what if story about the Manson family killings.
Yeah, that should, I mean, just his whole style of writing and directing is very unique and very quirky.
hmm I just love everything he's done. I always look forward to the movies come out in the theater, and I always go the first day to see them.
Yeah. Well, I like to wait until they come out on video because that way I can stop them at points that I'm interested in, either character wise or script wise, back them up and rewind through it and try and, pick it apart. Um, I really like to be able to dissect them.
hmm Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm the biggest cinephile in the world. I got so many movies and I got posters and all that stuff, mostly horror and sci-fi. I need to get other genres as well, because I just started going to conventions and festivals the last couple of years and stuff.
Oh, fun.
So I collect all of them. Oh yeah, I'm hooked on the conventions and festivals, and I started doing press at them and everything. I'm gonna see if I can volunteer next year and like handle celebrities' money at their tables and stuff when they sign autographs.
Oh, wow, that would be an interesting job, definitely.
Well, somebody told me that if you handle a celebrity's money for an entire weekend and you talk to them and get to know them and stuff, they're more likely to read your scripts than a fan or a member of the press, because then you're just a fan and you could be full of shit or creepy, or if you're doing press and stuff, they just see you as a journalist trying to get into screenwriting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I've been told that, and I wish I had known that a year ago or 2 years ago. I just found this out like earlier this summer, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I think I should give that a try. I mean, I got metal in my leg. I can't do standing on my feet for an extra long period of time doing stuff, but
Hmm.
I can definitely sit at the table and count the money, even though it's like retail when I used to work at the cash register and I used to deal with all these fuckhead customers.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. It's and then there's a whole different set of people when it comes to a horror, sci-fi genre. It's any kind of convention. You get so many different cast of characters coming through. It really is just kind of an experience, especially if you're a writer. I mean, it's kind of fun to meet all these different people and pick their brains.
Oh yeah, there's some pretty interesting people there. I remember last year I went to Monster Palooza in Pasadena because I go every year. This year I couldn't go. I was going to, and then my friend, who's not really my friend anymore, he flaked on me because he's got a drug problem, and uh, I went last year, and everyone was there to meet Robert Englund. They're all Freddy Krueger fans, and
Mm.
oh my god, I just could not believe the lines. It was insane, and the fire marshals were like freaking out and pacing all around the place, hoping that that's not a fire hazard to have all these fans there.
Gosh, think about that. Think about how long it's been how long ago that he did that first movie.
Oh yeah.
And, just how popular it still is. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's just like Star Wars. You do this one little movie that you're not sure about, and then all of a sudden it becomes this enormous, monstrous success. The movie industry is pretty crazy.
I know. Oh my God. It's just to the actor at the time it's just a job, and then it turns into a cultural phenomenon that changes the entire world, and then they're just bombarded by all these crazy fans, quoting their lines to them and calling them by their character name. you know
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's actually, part of the reason why I quit acting. I haven't done any kind of commercials or anything in,
uh-huh.
I don't know, 7 years probably. There was one point where I was out and I was with my kids and I was at a park and we were in the women's room and I had twins and at the time they were probably 10 years old and they were inside the handicap stall and I'm holding the door closed because the lock was broken. And this woman walked out of the other stall in front of me and she looked at me, she goes, oh my God, I know you. I saw you in this and this and this and this. And she just started talking to me and I don't know why, but it kind of freaked me out because I was like, kids, you okay in there? Yeah, nice to meet you too. And I'm in this toilet and in the middle of this park nowhere, and I was like, oh my, it's so weird to be recognized, And at that time, I was doing a lot of TV work and a lot of film work, and I'd have people walk up to me all the time, oh, you're from that Nissan commercial, aren't you? And so
Yeah.
it was just kind of weird. It freaked me out, and I went, oh, it's kind of good that I'm writing now because I don't know if I really like people recognizing me. I can't imagine what it would be like to be someone like, let's say, for instance, Michael Jackson or Madonna or something like that. I mean, to constantly be bombarded and not have any peace at all.
Well,
I just couldn't imagine that.
well, they couldn't go out at all. I mean, they're so
Oh, yeah.
recognizable. They couldn't go out at all.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could live like that. I'm sure it's a really difficult transition to go there. I know Jennifer Lawrence said that the one thing she misses the most is being able to go to Starbucks. She's like, I love going to Starbucks, and I can't do it anymore because I walk in and people just mob me.
Oh God. Yeah. Poor girl. Yeah.
Yes.
You know who lives in San Mateo is Neil Young.
Oh, yes. Sometimes I actually saw him up at, what's that place in Woodside, that little bar up in Woodside. He goes every so often, brings his guitar, and just sits up there and jams for everybody. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is Neil Young. What's he doing here?
Are you talking about?
Who else was lovely is, oh, shoot. Oh my God, I just lost her name. Oh no. She was in The Witches of Eastwick, the blonde one.
Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yes, she lives locally. She used to, the ice skating rink in San Mateo here?
Yeah.
She used to bring her son for ice hockey games here.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I stumbled upon that one day, and I was like, holy crap, I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
I do too.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I do too. Actually, her sister Dee Dee, who's not that known, I actually like her a little bit better. She did this cult horror movie in the '80s called Vamp, where she played a possible vampire girl in it, and she was so cute and charming in that movie. I think she should have been just as big as Michelle.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know she had a sister that did horror films. Interesting.
She's really adorable, and I hope she does conventions more, and I get to meet her and stuff. I found out she was at one recently that I couldn't get to that was out of California, but I hope I get to meet her someday.
Oh, yeah, me too. Especially if it's someone you've admired for a long time.
I've been so lucky with all the ones I've met, all the pictures I've got on Facebook, and all the autographed posters and stuff. It's amazing.
I've seen that. Yeah, you have quite a good collection. It's funny, I collect autographs as well, or I don't collect autographs, I collect items. So I collect books that have been signed by the authors, or posters. Like I have a Robin Williams poster, which, is very dear to me at this time because of his passing.
Yeah.
And I have, like, and Ken Cook, Martin Yan signed it for me, and Steve Martin, I have one of his books, and he signed it for me, one of his scripts. But, I have a nice little collection of things like that, too. I don't know why I like them, but I do.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna keep every single one of them. I'm never gonna sell them on eBay, unless heaven forbid, I ever get down on my luck again, like I was a couple of years ago, you know.
Never
But
going to happen. Don't even think it.
no, not even thinking it, not at all. What color do you have on your toes right now?
I have blue. How about you?
I have purple.
Oh, close, very close. I had purple before I got the blue. I just had my toes done last week.
Hmm.
One of my neighbors has a whole salon in her house, and I was like, oh, great, I'll come over for a pedicure. We'll drink. So went over there, and she has this really lovely electric blue that is perfect for this time of year.
Nice. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but it is almost purple season.
Yeah, like when I'm out in public and I'm wearing my flip flops or anything, I get a lot of compliments from girls about my nails and stuff.
Oh, good. So do you do them yourself?
Yeah, I do them. I've been doing them myself the last 6 years or so. When I first met you, I was getting them professionally done, and then it got to a point where it got expensive, and again, here's with the disloyalty of people in the Bay Area. I was going to the salon for about maybe 2 years, maybe a year or so and a half. This woman, she had this shop in San Carlos where I lived, and I was going to her and stuff. And then she moved further down the street to another location, and then she got pretty expensive pretty quick. And then I stopped going to her and started doing it my own and stuff. And like her and I were like friends. We like hung out outside of the place, and like she didn't show me any loyalty to the point where she could, give me a discount or anything. She got greedy.
Mm. Yeah, my neighbor knocked off $5, and I was like, okay, well next time I'll bring the Bloody Mary. So, um, anyway.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird that way though and stuff. But oh my God,
Yeah,
can I tell you this dirty story?
sure.
Oh my God, just before, about 5 minutes before I recorded my intro and then called you, I was looking out my window and I saw this. Oh my God, this really hot guy walking by, right? Like early 20s, and in this apartment complex, there's a lot of guys in their early 20s that are hot over here. And this
Sounds
guy,
like there's a bonus to wedding then.
yeah, I mean they're all straight, but whatever. Um,
Oh, still eye candy.
yeah, good eye candy. Oh, I'm at the pool and the hot tub every day over here.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. So finish up your story. I apologize.
that's okay. So I see him and I get a raging hard on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the time and I'm like, oh shit, I got like 4 or 5 minutes and stuff. And then I figure, okay, I'm gonna get to work and get rid of this hard on, and I did. And
Huh?
and like I had everything ready to start and everything, and like there was a punctuation of me coming and me starting the intro that was like pretty damn quick.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds. It sounds like good timing.
Yep. Very good timing. Yes. Oh my God. And yeah, I mean over here, it's just some days it can be really really hot, like scorching hot, and other days it can be really cold. The worst is the winter time because there's thunder and lightning over here in the winter time, and it scares the shit out of me.
There is. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like oh my God, I went to where did I go? I went to the dollar store. It's like down the street, but kind of far. Back in April, and this was like during one of the last like thunderstorms of rain over here. And
Okay.
I was so afraid of getting struck by lightning on the way home because lightning was hitting, and I can't run because of the metal in my leg. I was
Oh my gosh, and you have metal in your leg. Yes.
I was
So that's
scared,
why you would be terrified.
and I said over and over again to myself, please God, just let me get home. And it happened. I didn't get hit, but I got home safe.
Wow, that is just, I didn't even think about that. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, the lightning over here is pretty bad. The two things I really don't like about Reading is the lightning and the thunder. The lightning and the fires.
Yeah, that's, well, and for me, the rednecks, but, we won't go there.
That is so awesome. Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
Uh,
What?
it's pretty crazy that somebody would actually say that. I was just like, seriously, you just said that to me? That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Do you have any dirty stories you want to share?
Oh, geez, no, I've been married a long time. Yeah, gosh, no, I don't. I am getting divorced though, so hopefully I will have some good ones over the next few years.
Oh,
So
you.
maybe the next time I talk to you, I'll have a good one for you.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Last
Yeah.
last week, this one girl that I'm friends with, who's a stand-up comedian, we spent about 2.5 hours just talking dirty on the whole show and had such a good time. And I asked her, I said, "When's the last time your husband gave you a really good fuck?" And she said, "Last night." And I was like, "Really? That soon?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, we have a really good sex life. We've been married, almost 15 years. We have a really good sex life." And she told me about how, you know, periodically, she'll wake him up with a blowjob and all that. You know.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember the good old days. We used to do that too.
Yeah.
In fact, I think my best probably my best story about that is one time we were driving and we had been gone a very long time and we were on the road for a long time
Hmm.
and I used to BJ to save his life, I say, because otherwise we probably would have crashed. So that's probably my only good story.
Oh, I got a
But that
story.
was years ago. So
Yeah. Oh, I got a story similar to that. Uh,
oh yeah.
Back in 2013, I had this big old birthday party for my 30th. That was huge, and this one friend of mine, she was not able to attend, and so she texted me on on Monday, and she said, "Hey, I'm in your area. Do you want to go have lunch?" And I said, "Sure." And she's like, "Okay, I'm around the corner. You got 5 minutes." And first thing I do, and she woke me up. I was in the middle of sleeping, and the first thing I do when I wake up is masturbate, and I didn't have time to do it, so we have lunch, and after lunch is over, I said, she asked me if I wanted to go over to IKEA and because she needed something for her kitchen, and I said okay. And I was like, by the way, I didn't masturbate this morning because of you. And she said, "Oh, you can do it while I drive." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And she's
Oh my
like,
God.
"Yeah, yeah." And she's like, "Yeah,
Sorry to IKEA. Okay.
yeah." So she's like, "Yeah, you can take it out and everything, and I won't mind. We've been friends for a long time." And I was like, "Wow." And so she put this gay porn on her phone, right, on her cell phone, and she
That's a true friend.
yes, and she put it on her holder thing, and so yeah, I played with myself watching this, and it got so intense that I gave her a warning that I was about to come, and when I did, it hit the ceiling.
Oh my goodness.
It hit the ceiling, came back down, and she was laughing so hard we almost crashed.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't. You didn't need that.
Yeah, and oh, I crashed a year later when in the accident. But yeah, it was pretty funny, and She told me never tell anybody about that, but I have. But I just don't name her.
Oh, yeah, that's probably good. Otherwise, she's going to get really mad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy who can keep any secret, and I will keep a secret for anybody and stuff. But that's just too funny not to be told.
Oh, definitely. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to wrap up here soon, dear. I need to get to a few things. I have some jobs I'm working on, and but it was great talking to you.
Oh yes, Valerie, we got to do this again. Um, this show is going to be tentatively going on hiatus, or I'm not going to do it at all anymore once the new year comes, because with my moving and stuff, I'll let you know and everything. But yeah,
Okay.
before the year is out, I'd like to do this again because God, this is fun.
Sure, no problem. And you're definitely going to send me a link to it, right?
Of course, and I send you all my stuff to show that guy you were telling me about.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I'll pass it along for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Valerie. God bless you, love you, and have a great rest of your day.
Oh, thanks. You too, honey. Right back at you. Big hugs and kisses, okay? You take care.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Valerie VB Leghorn. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Valerie. Oh my God, I love talking to you. You're such a fun person. I'm glad I'm friends with you. Been over 10 years now. You're just the most awesome person there is. Everyone, please, if you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Oh, and before we go, I'd like to say happy birthday to Rebecca De Mornay. Today is her birthday. It also would have been Michael Jackson's birthday. He would have been 60 years old today if he were alive. So happy birthday to both of them. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.